Hello, in this video we're going to go over lesson 2.2, conditionals else. This is the exercise best day ever. And this one here has a lot of code already written for us. And the program works. The only problem is it's just not written correctly, because what we have here, bunch of print statements here. This is kind of like a quiz thing, asking you some questions, and you're going to choose A, B, or C. But when we look at our conditionals, we have if, and then another if, and then another if. And this technically would work because each of these is independent. Because if I say, A, then A is, this one here is true. And if I say B, then this is false, and this one here is true, and this is false. And if I say C, this was false, and then true. So this would work like it is. But the best way to do things, though, is not just with ifs, but with elifs, assuming they are referring to the same question. And so the way we do this is we think about like the hierarchy of things. And so the original if is like the parent, and then the rest of those would follow, and they would be the elifs or the else ifs. So what we need to do here on line 20, it says change if conditionals below into a single conditional with if and elif clauses. So what we're going to do here, we have our if. We always have to start with an if. And then we have our alternative. So if user choice equals A, we do this. And then we're going to go down to 27 and say elif user choice equals B. We'll do this. And then on line 32, we're going to say elif user choice equals C. But now we have to do our validation. We have to add an else clause that handles incorrect input if they do something else besides what we are asking them to do. And we're just going to follow the instructions here. It says add an else clause that handles incorrect input. Add your own version of what happens in that case, for example, and then it gives us some examples. Let's just go ahead and use these examples. And so down on line 42, I'm going to type in my else like that. And then I'm just going to copy these guys and just print them all, because that's what's in the example. The main thing I have to do is make sure that I indent. And I'll go print. So I've got that one printed. And let's get the second little statement here. And make sure I'm indented again. Always have to be indented on these. And close out my quotations and my parentheses as well. And let's get this third one. Again, I'm going to do indent. Add all my stuff. There we go. So now I have my else. And this will handle anything else if somebody doesn't put A, B, or C. So let's roll down here and see what else we have. Got question 2. So this is already done for us. Then on line 59, it says change these if conditionals into a single conditional with if and elif clauses, just like we did. So here is an if user choice equals Y, then we're going to print these. We need to make this next one into an elif. Oops, that's not an elif. There we go. Elif, user choice equals no. So this is my main one. Yes. Elif, which would be the alternative, is no. And of course, then we need to add an else. This is going to validate and make sure that if they put nope or not sure or something else, that it will be handled. So down on line 76, I'm just going to type in else and a colon. And let's go ahead and use their examples also again. So I'm just going to copy these down on line 77. Make sure I indent. And let's just put these here. There we go. That's the first one. Now you might think you can copy all of these, but that won't work because when you do multi-line things, the code will break. You've got to do everything on its own individual line, and that's why we're doing it like this. But if you type fast, it doesn't take very long, and if you make sure that you get all of your syntax, then you're not going to have any errors. So I hopefully won't have any errors. There we go. And I should probably test after this line, but I'm pretty sure mine works, but you should probably test yours. So let's roll down here. We've got question number 3, and here's again, what do you want to do after school? And then some options, and so the user choice is A, B, C, or D. And we've got to also then fix this because I have an if, user choice equals A, but now I need to make these into elifs because we're not going to leave them independent. They are all kind of dependent on the if, and then elif for all 3 of those. And of course, I need to also add another else. And so down at the very bottom on line 122, I'm going to put in my else. And I'm going to just copy these guys again. So let's copy this right here. Make sure I indent. And I'm going to copy this other one, which is going to go way off the screen, I think, but that's okay. Let's go back here, make sure I indent, print. There we go. And go back over here, print. And I think this is the last one right here, the whims. Paste that in. There we go. So that handles that. And then I have my already done print. In the end, this will truly go down in history as the most epic of days. Good. So if you were able to create your elifs and your else correctly, and you've got everything done in terms of the indentions and all of your syntax, make sure you test it to make sure if it's all good, then you did a good job, and you can go ahead and turn it in.